It's Missing Real with Mike Darrigo. Bored or excited, you're listening to me. In the early 21st century, audio entertainment known as the podcast was popularized throughout the human race and across the planet Earth. But one such podcast came about, which would reveal a new terror beyond imagination. Oh yeah, you're just talking about Missing Real, aren't you? Yeah, come on, shut up, you damn narration. Hi, welcome back to Missing Real Podcast with me, and my name's Mike, and I'm here to be your host and your narrator, better than the one that's in this movie anyway. And you're going to hear a lot about a really cool, maybe somewhat underappreciated science fiction film from 1995 entitled Screamers. So let me tell you one thing, there is a lot of noise and a lot of screaming in this movie, both by the people who die or who are scared and by these autonomous swords things, these underground burrowing. They're kind of like Tremors worms, but they're like these underground burrowing things, robots, shit with like little mini buzzsaws that can cut you up and chop off your limbs and things like that. And it doesn't sound like much of a movie, does it? Nah, it's like some stupid horror plot with a lot of sci-fi crap thrown in, but it's actually pretty damn good and based on a short story by the legendary Philip K. Dick. And all his books and short stories were made into amazing movies and shows and Blade Runners and Total Recalls and Scanner Darklys and things like that. So yeah, Philip K. Dick wrote some amazing sci-fi, and some filmmakers just know what to do with it and how to translate it to the screen and make it not suck. So this is one movie that I was a little bit divided on at the time. I wasn't sure if it was awesome or not. It had some kind of corny special effects and the premise seemed weird, but over the years, as I rewatched it, I've really grown to love this movie. So before I get you too excited about this 1995 Screamers, watch out, because there's another Screamers out there. At least one other Screamers out there. And I saw it in a video store way back in the early 80s. It's got a cover with this sort of like man who looks like he's all skinned and has veins and arteries all over the place, and he doesn't look very happy. And it's called Screamers, and the tagline is, "They're men turned inside out, and worse, they're still alive." But that's not really what's in the movie. It's a hoax. It's bullshit. It was some sort of weird re-edit of an earlier movie called Island of the Fishmen from 1979, noteworthy only because it starred Barbara Bach, Mrs. Ringo's star, and former Bond girl. Very fetching. And I don't know if she was turned inside out or anything fishy about her, but I would watch it. I think I did watch it, but yeah, I remember there was a lot of fish and docks and boats, and nobody was inside out. Just my brain watching it. And it was kind of crappy, but yeah, it was courtesy of Roger Corman and his New World films. And God bless, Roger Corman made some great schlock that I love, but that is not among it. But Screamers here, 1995, now this is totally different. It's based on the short story Second Variety by Philip K. Dick. And there's a lot of varieties. It's like varieties of these new hunting machines that eventually they will impersonate humans themselves. So we'll get more paranoia, kind of like, thingness going on here. Alright, so this movie here is directed by Christian Duguay from Quebec, and he did some other stuff earlier in his career, Scanners 2 and 3. Yes, I know you should never ever try to do a sequel to a David Cronenberg movie because it's just going to be fucked up, but his were actually decent as I recall. I watched them on video, they weren't too bad, they were from 91. He directed The Art of War, Wesley Snipes, and some human trafficking episodes in 2005 with Donald Sutherland and Mira Sorvino. And I should also mention that the composer who did the music for this movie, Normand Corbeil, also Canadian, scored some of Human Trafficking and Art of War, but really the music in this movie is very good. I really like it. It's epic and science fiction-y and menacing and melodic and cool and catchy and, only momentarily cheesy during some sappy moments in the movie, but I really like it. So, the soundtrack alone is a plus for this particular Screamers. And yeah, there's no screaming in the soundtrack, it's just music, which I like. It's really good. There should have been some screaming. Certain vocalists would have helped. And alright, what's the catch here? The movie, why would you see it? Yeah, it was advertised like, from the people who brought you Blade Runner and Alien and blah blah blah. So we have writers like Dan O'Bannon doing the screenplay. Dan O'Bannon is like royalty here in the film industry because he wrote Alien, man. He also did some screenplay work on Blue Thunder, Life Force, and Total Recall. And another guy writing this movie, Miguel Tejada Flores, who is responsible for Revenge of the Nerds. So I don't know if that comes into play in this movie. Thank goodness, there's nobody with really big Coke bottle glasses getting a wedgie or anything like that or trying to break into a sorority. And this guy also wrote the Screamers sequel, which we'll get to later. but not really in much depth. And the star of the movie, yes, who's in this movie? Who's carrying this cast here? Peter Weller, good old Robocop. All right, Peter Weller plays Joe Hendrickson, and he's part of the Alliance, and I'll tell you the whole plot of this movie sooner or later, but yeah, it's in space, and it's in the future, 2078 or something like that. These warring factions that have called a truce, and they live on different parts of the planet, and they haven't seen or spoken to each other in a while, but they want to end this war that's been going on for a long time. Something this narrator at the beginning was telling us about, but extremely boring, watching this scrolling text, but somebody is also reading it in this very annoying voice, trying to make it sound really exciting and science fiction-y with this bad echo effect, which I'll probably edit in post. So Peter Weller's a star here. Now, Peter Weller, besides doing Robocop, which you all know, he has a lot of talent in other areas. You know, he plays jazz, trumpet. He's a musician. He played with Jeff Goldblum at some point. I would imagine that their outfit was called something like Robofly or whatever, but I never saw them live. They're probably good, though. He is actually a professor of literature, fine arts at Syracuse University. And, yeah, I'm sure lots of people took his class, but he himself has said in an interview that it's a tough course and don't expect an easy A from old Robo. But he's also an expert and has a lot of knowledge about Roman history. So, yeah, that should come in real handy in the year 2078 in this movie. But, you know, Peter Weller's great movies like Living with a Big Rat, of unknown origin, Buckaroo Banzai, Robocop and 2, Leviathan. He shows up on Star Trek Enterprise and Star Trek Into Darkness, and popped up on some episodes of Dexter and 24. So of course you know who he is. At least the bottom half of his face if you've only seen Robocop. But he, you know, good actor, serious guy, you know, takes his craft seriously and doesn't bullshit around too much. So all right, we'll get into things as we get into this movie and we meet the other characters, because I don't want you to get bored. I want you to love this podcast and love this movie, you know, if you've never seen it, because I recommend it strongly. It's good. It's good sci-fi. Watch it after you listen to this, or maybe listen to this after you watch it, because guess what? Spoiler alert, almost everything I tell you is a spoiler if you don't already know that it happens. So go watch the movie first and then come back and listen to me. All right, so here we go. We're on a planet somewhere. I think it's Sirius 6B or whatever it is. You know, Sirius, just kidding, 6B, some place in the universe. And there's a beryllium mine. And it's the 10th year of this war, and there's this headquarters, this bunker, and some lone soldiers approaching it through the sandy, dusty desert terrain as a messenger from the new economic bloc, or the NEBs. That's the other side. But as he's walking across the sand, all these things start going under the sand, shifting and burrowing underneath. What the hell are those things like? You hear all these noises, and they don't sound safe. They sound like, you know, power tools and things that'll kill you. And as this guy is trying to get to the headquarters, the guys inside the bunker are like sighting him in their rifles, ready to sniper him and take him out. Hang on, he's alone. And he's holding up this canister when he's trying to get away from all these attacking screamers, also known as claws in the Philip K. Dick story, I think. But they're just these little mechanical things. They look like metal rats or something when you see them later on. And they have these buzzsaws on them, and they just fly out of the sand, and he's shooting at them, and he's trying to get away, and then one of them chops his leg off, and he's like squirming around, like, you know, losing limbs every few seconds here. And finally, one of them gets him in the head. Disgusting. And somebody pukes inside the bunker because they're watching the whole thing. But we don't really see that. You know, we don't puke. Vomit all over our remote control here while we pause and clean up. But it's not that gory, actually. It's not bad. But we get what happens. So they go and retrieve this canister, and they bring it down to their manager, their boss, Peter Weller, playing Hendrickson. And he's down there with his little eyeglass staring at this coin. He's like very obsessed with coins, even though I don't know if money has any use anymore, wherever they are all isolated at the ass end of space. And he's listening to Mozart, Don Giovanni, with his buddy Chuck, you know, who also helps him run the place. This guy Chuck is played by Ron White, and the only thing I know him in is Unforgiven in 1992. I've never seen him anywhere else, but he's an actor. He does other shit too. And he's here, and he does this movie with Peter Weller, and he's okay. He's a good character, whatever. They have like a buddy system, I guess. They know each other a long time. They smoke these red radiation-reducing cigarettes and talk some shit in the lounge about their former lives and their ex-wives, and you're gonna look her up when this assignment's over? We don't know. You always got a history, Peter Weller, and is talking about this. So forgive me if I don't do a good Peter Weller. Is he the Robocop or my like mumbly voice that sounds like Peter Weller? Because he doesn't really yell or speak. But when he does, you'll hear it, you know. I'll do a better version later. You'll hear it. That's Peter Weller. That's my Peter Weller. If you want the real one, he costs more. Sorry. Yeah, after they get this stupid message, which pops out of the canister like a snake nut can, just shoots out into his hands. Very cool. Neat special effect or whatever it is. Scares the crap out of us for no reason. You know, it's a jump scare. Thanks, Christian Duguay. Is this a horror movie or not? I don't know. It's sci-fi as far as I know. All right, so they read about this thing, and it's like, it's like an invitation to like a peace treaty meeting or something like that, you know, at the other headquarters. So they get a virtual visit from their Secretary of State or some dude that's supposed to be in charge, you know, all this technology that's not that impressive. They decide, all right, maybe we'll take a walk over there, we'll cross the terrain. It's very dangerous, but we could get there. And they don't have any vehicles, I guess, apparently. They're just going to walk through all this wasteland of all these like cool matte paintings and things of buildings and nuclear fallout shit that happened on this planet. But they're still mining for something there that's useful and not too radioactive. Yes, barium, right? They're looking for barium, whatever it does. So like they always have to like smoke these red cigarettes whenever this like alert goes up. Like the radiation levels are too high, so smoke, kill yourself a different way. So all right, so something weird happens. Like there's a crash outside, like some spaceship or a commercial flight or whatever just crash lands right outside the bunker. And all these people inside this crashed vehicle don't have any tags on them. So tags are these wristbands that you wear to set your heartbeat or whatever out of sync so that the screamers can't find you. Because these screamers here, they're just part of the war. They're there to hunt down anybody who's walking around and just, kill them. So if you have these wristbands, these like, eye watches or whatever they are that help keep you alive and protect you, they throw off the sensors of the screamers. So these people in the transport, there were civilians and there's some soldiers in there and like, you gotta be protected. There's this one guy, Jefferson, who we're gonna meet soon. And then there's a nuke on board. Like, what's this damn nuke doing on here? Anyway, these screamers come out and start killing off people or dragging the dead bodies down underground. But they get this guy Jefferson out and he talks to Peter Weller. Jefferson is this dude played by Andy Lauer. I've seen him in The Doors and Iron Man 3, but not very much. He's just pops up here and, he doesn't have any major roles in that, and I've not seen him anywhere else. But again, effective character. Probably that's who they could get, and they had to give all the money to Peter Weller, I guess, and maybe one other actor in this movie. So he's talking to him, and Jefferson's like, "Sir, with all due respect, I don't know, are we still at war here?" And like, "Son, you ain't heard much, have you? You don't get out much for that." "Sir, this Secretary of State you just talked to has been dead for 6 months." And Peter Weller gets all distraught, like, "Get out of here! I mean dismissed." Gets upset, and he's talking to Chuck. "We are beached here, brother. We're washed out, and the whole world going on." He's just babbling and ranting about how they've just been hung out to dry and nobody is in command anymore. What are you supposed to do? So he does decide to take this dude Jefferson with him on his little walk to go to the other command and find out if they really do want peace and what's going on. So they go, and he leaves, what's his face there, Chuck back there in command, and he stays in radio contact with him and whatever. All right, so while Jefferson and Hendrickson. It's going to be kind of hard to say these names over and over again, man. But all right, Weller and Lauer, whatever. These two dudes go walking. And this fucking Jefferson guy puts on a Discman or whatever. He's listening to a really awful song. Like a picture perfect morning on a picture perfect day. Like, geez, man, this is the best song you can get to listen to in Screamers. I could go with something else maybe that has like some screaming in it. Yeah, like appropriate songs. Meanwhile, Peter Weller on set was listening to Soundgarden while having shootout scenes, I guess, to help drown out the noise with more pleasant melodic noise. And Chris Cornell and stuff like that. But anyway, that song sucks, and we have to listen to it quite a few times as they're walking through different terrains, and the scenery's kind of cool, and again, like matte paintings, and there's like winter and snow and nuclear fallout. Red cigarettes. Jefferson's asking, "How do you know it's working?" "You don't die." So it's to help you survive the radiation that's out there. So as they're walking around, they encounter this little kid somewhere in like this abandoned building. He's like, "Can I come with you?" Keeps repeating the same shit. "Can I come with you?" Carrying around a little teddy bear. "Yeah, how long you been out here? How'd you survive?" Kid doesn't say much. "What do you eat?" "Food." "What kind of food?" "Different." He's giving all these shit answers, so just interrogate his ass, bring him in water, boredom or something, but it's too late, no time for that. And the snow could melt, and you could use that as the water, but it takes too long. And they're tired, they gotta rest, so they just sit there and they sleep and rest and start a fire. Peter Weller's playing with this rock, but it's actually a bug, and the legs pop out and scare his ass. "If you're gonna be a rock, be a rock. Don't be weird dialogue. I don't understand why Weller is doing this shit. Maybe he's improvising it. Maybe it's his jazz background. I don't know. But the dialogue's kind of weird sometimes. And then Jefferson is doing more stupid shit to entertain himself. He's watching some like VR porno crap on his little his Oculus, whatever he's wearing there, his headpiece. And his freaking tag malfunctions and blinks out. And Weller's like just hanging around, snoozing, dozing. And he looks over and he sees the color of the tag is red, or it's the wrong color. And he hears all this zzz. He fucking shoots the damn screamer just before it takes Jefferson apart. "What the hell are you doing?" Pulls his little headset up. "What is this?" He starts watching it. "Hey, pretty cool, right?" Smashes it. "Get your ass killed." "Hey, I needed that." He tries to give him a wake-up call, This guy doesn't realize he's going to be dead if he just keeps fucking around on the Screamer planet. These tremors things under the ground, whatever the hell they are. There's a lot of those things buzzing around. But there's like rumors. When Peter Weller took a chip out earlier in his little office there, pried out the chip from this little screamer thing. You see the saw. It scares you there too when you put your hand near it. There's a lot of jump scares in the early half of this movie for no reason, but It's cool. And he sees a chip, and it's like, it's been modified. Like, this is not a standard issue chip. What's going on? Who's modifying the Screamers? So on his journey there, they finally get to the Neb Command bunker, and he meets some other characters. They have some weird guy who's always chewing on the pull handle of his hood from his parka. Ross, played by Charles Powell. You could see him in Exorcist 3 if you want to. I don't know where else. And there's also Becker, played by Roy Dupuis, who's a French-Canadian dude, did a lot of French-Canadian stuff, and is in one of those La Femme Nikita TV shows, but I've never seen him anywhere else. And he's kind of an asshole, and he's always sharpening his knife and saying stuff like that. He's a tough guy. And then Ross is all like, paranoid and manic. But the only cool person in this whole bunker here is Jennifer Rubin, who plays Jessica Hansen. Jennifer Rubin was a model in the 80s, especially for Calvin Klein Obsession, if you remember that. And her first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in 87. And right after that, she met another hot guy. Well, hot because he was burnt and came back from the dead in Bad Dreams with Richard Lynch. And you could see her momentarily in The Doors also, or in The Crush from 1993. But she's cool. She's in a lot of direct-to-video stuff as well. But, Screamers is a good movie for her. Good vehicle for her to be in. So, yeah, she's kind of like in charge here. She has a bottle of Johnny Walker Red saved for this very special occasion, so they all sip from it. And she's talking to Weller there, and they split a real cigarette, one of his last. And while she's bathing herself with a sponge, they see they have a plutonium rocket. There's no figurative, metaphors here. There's a plutonium rocket while she's bathing herself. Weller's like, "My God, Hanson, you're beautiful." Only we don't really get to see much, not even a little bit of side boob, so I'll just have to take his word for it. But yeah, she's a lovely woman, and alright, so what? She didn't want to show her private parts in this movie, or her wares. It's okay, we'll just look at the damn fucking CG stop-motion screamer robot shit instead. That's more visually appealing than a woman's body, yeah. All right, so she's all clean now. All right, so they can go out into the dust and desert and get dirty again. While they're getting ready to walk around and go like to the real command center, like this headquarters with all the computers and shit, like the actual Neb Command that's underground down this elevator, a big long journey away. Becker there is still sharpening his knife, and Ross like, "Is it sharp enough yet?" "It's never sharp enough." And he licks it with his tongue. Guy's crazy. He's like a loose cannon. Something bad's going to happen with him at some point. So they take the elevator down. They go to the command bunker. They come back up on the top there. And this location is really cool. I like this because it's like really, really long, expansive. Looks like a cafeteria. There's this cool blinky light thing. The ceiling structures are cool. It's actually filmed at the Montreal Olympic Stadium place somewhere in Montreal, which I'm going to try and check out. And I'm sure they dismantled all the cool science fiction-y stuff, and it just looks like a ticket counter or whatever where you go see sports. But it's probably awesome anyway. And I'm going to go see it at some point in life. My Geek Screamers pilgrimage, on-site location. Because I don't really know. I can't get to Sirius 6B, so the best I could do is Montreal. All right. While they're going there, they find everyone's dead. There's blood all over the place. And they try to go plug into the computer there and check out these chips and swipe them. And it's telling Peter Weller that there's other types. There's a type 1 and a type 3. What other type is it? Oh, by the way, geez, I forgot something really important, man. While they're approaching the bunker, before they even meet these people, him, Jefferson, and the kid, they're just walking towards the bunker, right? And the bunker people are like zeroing in on them with their electronic binoculars and stuff, and they see the kid there carrying his little teddy bear, and they blow the kid away. It gets Weller and the other dude all really on alert, and then they see the kid's got all these gears and clockwork shit going inside of him, and he finally shuts up with, "Can I come with you?" But he's a robot. Kid is a freaking robot. It's like, oh my God. And they go, "They look like us now. We're going to bring it in there and he would have killed us all. They wait till they get inside. That's when the killing starts." Something like that. All right, so the kid is dead. So the kid is also another variety of autonomous mobile sword. Screamer, claw, what have you. Whatever you want to call it. Little brat. But, that's one of the types. And then Peter Weller swipes the chip from the kid that he pried out. And he's like getting the computer readout. And like there's another type 3. And like there's like a type 2 somewhere. We don't know what the hell it is. Or whatever number it is. I don't know if I get the numbers right. But you know what I'm saying. There's like 3 types. And then Weller is getting pissed off. And the other guy, Ross is like, "Get off my back." He's all losing his shit because he sees all the people dead. He starts making a racket and like flinging things around. They have to cock a gun and point at him. "Jefferson, if this man moves again or even blinks an eye, shoot him." All right, good. That's Robo talking there. Finally shuts Ross up. Then there's some clacking noises. There's a freaking robot stop-motion rat screamer thing with his little saw. It looks pretty good, actually. The animation is not too terrible here. So it's clicking around, and it plugs itself into the computer, and it's like getting some data and uploading and downloading and doing whatever it does. They finally have to shoot the damn thing. Once the shot is fired, the lights go out, and you hear this, "Can I come with you?" echoing across the room. Like, uh-oh, let's get the fuck out. There's going to be all these little kids coming, so like the music starts getting all exciting. And let's get out of here. But, right before all the screamers approach is when Weller gets all of his data that he needs off that chip. They all run back, and they finally get back up the elevator, and they're running, and you see little shadows of the kids, the Davids. That's what this kid's name is, Just like an AI. But he's not, not as cuddly and fun to have around as Haley Joel Osment. And I don't know if they see dead people, but they make dead people, so it's almost the same thing they use here. All right, so they get back up the elevator, get back up to the headquarters. Maybe there's some Johnny Red left, I don't know, but we could sure use it right now. And then they're talking, and Weller is like, type 1, type 2, what other type? All right, chill out, Professor Robo. All right, I didn't know it was a pop quiz today. We don't know. Well, can you tell me the year that Caesar first conquered the Gauls and built a bridge across the Rhine to invade Britain? No, we cannot. You will get a C for this semester. Thanks, Professor. Back to Screamers, please. Yes, okay, back to Screamers. All right, so here, they are figuring out what the hell's going on. Ross is still all paranoid. Get off my back, because Becker is taunting him. You keep repeating yourself over and over again, like a robot. No, just get off my... Just leave me alone. That's better. And eventually, poor Ross gets a knife in him from Becker because, there's too much paranoia. And, they check and... You just waste a man for no reason at all. And he doesn't have any shame about it. He was repeating himself. Could have been one of them. But they don't do any thing blood tests or whatever like that to see, if these screamers are human or not. I'm not even sure if they have blood, at least not those other models. But they have a lot of gears and stuff. And you can't tell that they're robots. I mean, you would think, underneath the skin, you could hear, things like whirring and clicking underneath. But I guess they hide it pretty well. But as soon as you shoot a hole in one of them, you see all that shit inside. So I don't know. They must have a really good, a lot of WD-40 or something to grease up the gears, and they don't make a lot of noise, when they're walking right next to you for hours and you can't tell they're a damn robot. It's okay. So now these things are making themselves, they're modifying themselves. AI, it just does that stuff. It has a lot of ideas, and just takes over and wants to eliminate all humans. That's what it does in every damn movie that has AI. Except maybe AI, I don't know. So now they have to go back to the Alliance headquarters, just bring Jessica back there and maybe we'll get off this planet or something and we'll finally close down the whole war operation at some point or another. So they go outside again through this fan thing. Weller is calling Chuck back at the base, goes, Cicero, come in, Cicero. Livy there, is Livy there? All these other, Greek-Roman references. I don't know if this has anything to do with Peter Weller's professor curriculum or whatever, trying to make this movie more intelligent. I don't know if Philip K. Dick wrote that stuff, but it's all there, And then Becker's quoting some Shakespeare shit. And making sure Jefferson knows it's Shakespeare. Very good. He starts quoting a lot of crap. I don't know. All these fucking characters always quoting things. Byron and Shakespeare and whatever. To be more literate. So they're going to base and he still can't get a proper conversation going on. You're breaking up. He's talking to Chuck. Come on down. Let me speak to Don Giovanni. This is Don Giovanni. Come on down. So there's a little bit of suspicion here that maybe Chuck isn't Chuck anymore. He's just a damn taken over by the robots or something. All right, so Weller is standing position at the top of a hill, and then the door opens, and there's a deluge of Davids storming out, all walking out with their teddy bears. They're all coming out, all starting to scream, and there's fucking hundreds of them. And so they're shooting and blowing them away, and they finally get a flamethrower and start toasting them. And then they get the nuke, right? They get that little mini nuke missile that somebody stowed away. Jefferson snatched it and tucked it away in a little duffel bag. He wasn't supposed to leave the nuke, but it's a good thing he brought it. Insubordination comes in handy sometimes. So they fire the nuke, and kablooey, man, there's this massive explosion. So there was some rumor that one of the other types of screamer is a wounded soldier, right? That's calling out for help. So after this massive mini nuke explosion, there's fires everywhere and everyone's on the ground. They're all dazed and whatever, confused. Help me. And it's Becker there, the knife guy. He's all crouched over looking like he's in agony. And then Jefferson goes over to him and Weller is looking over wait a minute. Wounded soldier. Something about Mesopotamia. The Roman Empire, there was something about this. Somewhere, I don't remember. Maybe some old Miles Davis song, I don't know. It's coming back to me now, but it's coming back really slow. Sorry, as Jefferson goes up to Becker, hey, you all right, man? And then Becker looks him in the eye and kind of goes quiet. And he picks him up and he's squishing his torso with his hands. He's doing more crappy-ass poetry. I came into this world with my legs forward. And meanwhile, he's twisting and cracking every bone in Jefferson's body and blood's coming out. He tosses him. Then Peter Weller shoots him in the mouth. And he has the bullet in his mouth. And there's a little bit of cheap special effect electricity zapping around his head. He's still spouting some Shakespeare, but it's also damaged. It's like, I am my motherfucking self. So Weller just gets a better weapon and blows him in half. His torso pops off. His legs are walking around by themselves, still sparking a little bit of lightning and really kind of cheesy special effects there, which I wasn't too impressed with, but okay, I'll let it slide now. And then his base is blown up, and it's just him and Jennifer Rubin there, you know. Now they're all cold and wearing their jackets and stuff, and it's freezing. Yeah, there's like a secret escape ship. I know where it is. Let's go. I borrowed it from the Federation. Okay, so after Peter Weller finds out that there's a robot amongst them and that not everybody is a human, he has to like take hold of Jennifer Rubin and holds her hand, and then he slices it with a knife. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to know. Here, I'll cut my hand. No, don't. He gets all romantic now, and they kiss, and like they're gonna be together, the last two survivors, if they can make it off the planet. So they go into this rock face. Little thing under the snow has like a palm reading pad, and Weller sticks his hand on it. The rock opens up. It's really cool. It's very James Bondy. You know, you might find Blofeld in there around the corner, but you go into this underground, you know, inside lair with a crane, and at the very bottom there's this little escape ship, which they're gonna presumably escape in. And there's something wrong with the damn crane. Like it won't move, or something's blocking the exit. Like the crane is in the way where the ship has to fly out the hole at the top. So he has to go like figure out what the hell's wrong with the crane, climb up all these ladders and whatever. And then Jennifer Rubin is waiting down there at the bottom. So while he goes up there, goes onto the gantries, like climbing across, and he gets bonked over the head by something. And he falls over and almost falls off into the very, very long drop down. And he sees Chuck, but it's not really Chuck. It's a damn Screamer Chuck, or Robo Chuck, whatever the fuck. And they have a fight on the crane, jumping around and stuff. It's pretty exciting. And we think Weller is going to get dropped to his death, but then he sticks a screwdriver or something in Chuck's groin, whatever the fuck it is. And he starts electrocuting him, and all the zappy special effects are going. And luckily, when Chuck falls down, he doesn't take Peter Weller with him, and he just falls down into these laser things and just gets disintegrated. I don't know what those lasers are there for, because if your ship is going to go up through the lasers, you're going to slice your ship in half when you're trying to escape. I guess they're just like security, so nobody tries to like reach in and steal a ship. You know, at like the diamond exchange or whatever, when there's like a priceless jewel or Fabergé egg, and you put your hand through the alarm goes off, you know, except you lose your hand. Anywho, that's the technology we got here on Sirius 6B. Okay, so Robo there is with the ship, and Jennifer Rubin is there, and he opens up the cockpit. It's only got one seat. It only takes one passenger. Shit. You go ahead now. And they're arguing. And then, excuse me, would you care to take this outside? And there's another Jessica standing behind them. Like, what the fuck? There's two of you? So obviously, one of them is not real, or one of them is a copy, one of them is a robot. They're all robots. Yeah, alright, so the two Jessicas have a big fight. And the pre-launch burn for the ship is going off, so the thrusters are starting to fire up a little bit. And after the fight is turning, we don't know which one is which. I lose track of which one. One's wearing a helmet, one's not. But anyway, the launch fire burns the bad Jessica. After she screams at Peter Weller really loud and makes him like fall down with her sound waves. But anyway, she gets fried, and you see this weird skeleton thing. It looks like a really cheap Stan Winston knockoff Robo Terminator endoskeleton, but really bad. You see it for like just a second, and it's gone. Better off that way. And the wounded nice Jessica, at least the one that he kissed and cut the hand of with blood. So I guess they do have blood. Yeah, she's like all wounded and dying, and I learned something else. Like, what? You learned to love? Alright, good for you. So, he shouldn't feel bad that she's a robot, because, obviously, Murphy, hello, he was a Robocop too, so maybe Robo would have had a good girlfriend if this one could have been, like, repaired or something. Oh well, such it is. So, Henderson gets into his ship there. He's only got like 30 seconds left before the damn place goes or blows up. I think it's like a self-destruct. There's always the countdown. Or if you're not in the ship when the countdown counts, then it just leaves without you, and like, bye-bye, you got no more ships left. But he gets in there just in time, and presses some buttons there, and takes off his damn tag bracelet, like, finally I'm safe, and launches up and flies into the stars, and the music gets all serene and music box nursery rhymey, and you see there's a teddy bear in the cockpit of the ship, and it starts moving. Its head turns, and one of its hands comes up, and that's where the movie ends, man. And we figure this little teddy bear is going to sprout a chainsaw and just buzz Weller up and kill his ass in space, where no one can hear you scream. Ha ha ha. So that's the end of Screamers. He was supposed to be going to San Francisco. I don't know if he's making it there, though. I guess he was just in touch with them right before he went off to sleep or whatever the hell's going on. There is a sequel to Screamers, but it's in 2009, and it's really not that good. It's called Screamers The Hunting, and it's not from Christian Duguay. I don't know. I forget who directed it. Don't care. The only thing is that it features Lance Henriksen. So, like, yay, there's like one good actor in this movie. They just begged him to be in there. Nobody would want to do a sequel to Screamers, especially one as bad as this. Well, we need an actor. Hey, Bishop should go. Yeah, good idea. I may be synthetic, And stupid, but I need a paycheck. All right, well, good for you, Lance Henriksen. I think I did see that, but it was pretty crappy. I didn't like it. It had some screamers and some special effects and whatever, and I don't know. I think they reveal what happened to Henriksen as if we can't figure it out, but there's no Peter Weller and there's nobody else, and wasn't that good. I would recommend you just go watch that Island of the Fishmen Screamers movie instead. At least you can see Barbara Bach. I mean, she's a lot prettier than Lance Henriksen, I'll give you that. So other than that, I don't know. There's not much else about Screamers. I could tell you, trivia is all trivial. I've told it to you. There's not that much. I just say it's a good movie. You should watch it. It's great sci-fi. I really enjoy it because it's kind of like an odyssey. It has these different locations that they travel through and everything looks different and they go into the layer of danger and they try to come back and it's very bleak, like one twist after another where things go wrong or somebody dies or somebody is not who they appear to be. There's a little set of surprises every few scenes that something cool happens. I just like the narrative. The screenplay was pretty good. It's a good movie, okay? Screamers, the 1995 one with Peter Weller. You watch that, okay? And that should do it for me today with Missing Real, and I appreciate you all listening to it and hope you enjoy Screamers, because it is good. And I'll talk to you all again real soon. Gotta go now, so thanks and bye.
Can I come with you?
Kid, didn't your parents teach you anything?
Can I come with you?
Beat it!